Hello, students. Today I am going over the live lesson information from September 9th, 2020. We're going to start off with the warm-up. So the warm-up is in the discussions area of the course, and today's warm-up is 116, Analyzing DNA Discussion. And this is about the activity we're going into involving 1.1.6. So the first question is brainstorm why you think you are creating DNA profiles for Anna, Eric, and Dominique only in addition to the blood found at the scene. Why are you not creating DNA profiles for all persons of interest? Put thoughts into your response. So think about 114 when we did the blood typing activity. So why would we only be looking at Anna, Eric, and Dominique with regards to the blood found at the scene? Then you must comment on two other people's comments, either explaining why you think their hypothesis is good, explaining their hypothesis affected your own, or a hypothesis you have about or a question you have about their hypothesis. So you may need to wait some time so that you're not an early commenter. And then after that, we moved on. I did review a little bit about 1.1.5 and just the information that you needed to make sure you had in that section. So again, you can always just go back to assignments. And we're talking about 1.1.5, which was the DNA evidence. So remember, we found DNA evidence within the blood from yesterday. So again, we were working on this. So what you're turning in is you were supposed to make a video discussing the DNA debrief and the DNA structure. And if you don't remember, I have the video from yesterday up as well. So you're just taking notes on these two sections, and then you're kind of creating a video based off of it. But within this section as well, you skipped all the lab stuff because we didn't do a lab. And you scroll down to this part where it says complete the check for knowledge after step 1 and take a screenshot and put it into that Google Doc. You were supposed to do that. Then you had to take notes, respond to the prompts from all of the rest of the steps. So it was just pretty much just reading and writing. For step 8 of the Canvas assignment, you were supposed to take notes on the flip cards and take notes, respond to the reflection question, writing down the 4 basic steps of DNA extraction, and then you skipped all of the lab material again and you just responded to the last reflection question. Then you had the prepping DNA evidence for analysis. Again, you had to read and complete step 5. And then you had some conclusion questions. And then what you're turning in for 1.1.5 is whatever you did your video on, as well as the screenshots from your check for knowledge results and pictures of your lab notebook information. And I updated the rubric for that. So the highest you can get is 40 points for the video, 40 points for the lab notebook, and then 20 points for the check for knowledge. So then moving on to what we're doing today, it builds off of yesterday with DNA. So now you have the DNA, so now you're going to analyze it. So we're creating and analyzing DNA profiles, performing gel electrophoresis, and interpret results. So we're not physically doing the gel electrophoresis part, we're interpreting it. And you're also practicing with micropipetting, which is how you would get to this part. So to access that, you will need to click on this link. Make sure you're logged in, or if not, it's going to prompt you to log in. And what it looks like is this. So we're strictly dealing with the distance learning part of this because we can't physically do the lab because we're not in school. So the first part of that lab is building a DNA profile. You're going to title a new page in your notebook called 116 DNA Analysis. You're going to read the section and take notes in your notebook. And then this goes back to that discussion post, which we discussed in class. So just think about, again, why are we only targeting certain profiles as far as the blood evidence? So again, this section, you're just reading, taking notes. Then you move on to part 3 of your activity, which is a gel electrophoresis. You're reading the section, taking notes in your notebook. Then you have to take a screenshot of your check for understanding. So again, you're reading this section, taking notes. And then you have a check for understanding, which is 4 questions. After you're done, you're going to take a screenshot of that and post it into your Google Doc. Then step 4 is loading a gel. So again, we're not physically loading anything. So what you have to do is read the distance learning option, which is read the entire section. So you're going to read this entire section of loading a gel. And you're going to do step 1. Complete the exercise on the micropipetting page. You're going to click on this page. And if you go back to your assignment, it says do steps 1 through 5. Take notes in your notebook as you read and watch the video. Take a screenshot of your check for understanding. And then it says skip steps 6 through 16 and return back to the main lesson. So you're going to literally do steps 1 through 5, including the video, and do your check for understanding. Take a screenshot of that and post it into that Google Doc. So again, you're doing steps 1 through 5. So you're reviewing how to take care of a micropipette, review the parts of it. You're watching this video, which is 2 minutes. You're converting between measurements, so you're practicing. So when pipetting volumes, it's helpful to convert between 2 commonly used measurements, which are milliliters and microliters. There are 1,000 microliters in 1 millimeter, so you're following these steps to practice with conversion. So when converting from milliliters to micro, you multiply by 1,000. And when converting from micro to milliliters, you divide by 1,000. So you have an example here. You're going from 250 milliliters to microliters. So you have to multiply 250 times 1,000, which will give you 250,000 microliters. And then after that, you go on to the accuracy and precision. You will write down this term in your notes. And you will do that reflection question also in your notes. And then you'll do your check for understanding, get the results, take a screenshot of it, and that will be what you were supposed to be doing for that step, for step 4 of your Canvas assignment. And then what you would do is you would skip all of those sections, 6 through 16, and then return back to activity 116 and go into the next part, which would be analyzing case data. But in this case, because this is strictly dealing with lab, virtual labs, and all that other stuff, we're going to skip this entire section. So what you would do is you just keep scrolling past that section, because we're skipping that entire section with analyzing case DNA, because it's not as beneficial because we can't physically do the case for it. And you would go down to ethical considerations in DNA analysis. So when you get down to ethical considerations in DNA analysis, you're going to read the section and respond to the ethical scenario in your notebook. So you're reading this entire section and you're going to respond to this ethical scenario. So currently a national database containing the DNA profiles for every individual in the country does not exist. Each state has different laws about when they collect DNA from individuals and how long they can keep it in their state's database. Provide one reason to support the creation of a national DNA database and one reason to refute its creation. Record your ideas and then discuss the topic. So that's what you're doing for step 6. For step 7, you're going to title a section in your notebook called 1.1.6 Conclusion Questions, and you're going to respond to the conclusion questions in complete sentences. So you have one conclusion question. DNA evidence analysis is an imperfect science. Provide 2 reasons why this may be the case. Then as far as 8, so you're updating your electronic case file. So you didn't have to update anything in 1.1.5. So this is going to be the first time you update it since 1.1.4. And you're going to title a section in your electronic case file called DNA evidence. And you're going to update your file with findings from the DNA profile and include a picture of your results. So when they say the DNA profile, so you have so if you go back out, and I'm just going to try to open another Canvas one so that I don't have to confuse you. So when you go back into the class, if you go to the announcement section, it's titled Activity 116 DNA Analysis. And if you click here, it says Anna Garcia case report results. And it's a picture of the gel electrophoresis results. So you have something called a DNA ladder. And a DNA ladder is like a control group. So you're just using this as a control group. You have the blood from the table, the blood from the floor. You have Eric Piedmont, Dominique Hall, and Anna Garcia. So you're comparing the DNA analysis of the blood at the table and the floor to these 3 people. And you're kind of just trying to match as many markers as possible to see whose blood it actually is. So what you're doing again for this section is just update what you're finding. So explain what the picture is telling you. Explain what you're seeing here. Explain what's going on. So whose blood is that based off of the results that you have? And that's what you're updating in your case file. And you can include a picture of the results. So you can include a picture of this. So you can take a screenshot or download this picture into your case report. Then after that, what you're turning in is you're taking pictures of your notebook work and post them in 1.1.6 DNA analysis. Be sure to include the screenshots of the knowledge check results. Don't worry about this part because we didn't do the lab. And you're going to update your electronic case file, as well as I'm going to also be looking at your discussion post that you did in this lesson. And that's all you did. And just making sure, because progress reports are coming out, that you are making sure that your grades are the highest they can be. So that means that you're taking accountability and making sure that those links that I said I couldn't open, you're going into that Google Doc. And I did it with people individually today. But you're just making sure that they're shareable. So what you're going to do again, you're going to go here to share. And you're going to click here and change to link to Charlotte-Mecklenburg School, and you're going to hit done so that way I can open it. Or you can go here, file share, and do it the same way. But you have to make sure that it's open for Charlotte-Mecklenburg Schools so that I'm able to grade it and give you the best grade possible. So again, for this rubric, you're getting 20 points for your discussion, 50 points for your lab notebook, 10 points for your knowledge screen shots, and 20 points for your electronic case file. So it's a total of 100 points. So that's what you're doing. And then tomorrow, we're going to review 1.1.6. We're going to go into 1.1.7, which is just finalizing everything, that last report for your case. And we're going to review some and prepare to have an exam Friday, no later than Monday. So that's all we're doing. That's what we did in class today. So hopefully everybody understands and we're ready.